Do a Stellaris video, I'm gonna fuck your wife, you fucking nigga.
Hello, it is Creature, and today I've actually decided to write a script for this video. Who knew? I'm literate. Stellaris. I'm actually kind of surprised about how many people know about this game, but don't actually play it. I have absolutely no idea why. What could be keeping... Oh, yeah, well, I can certainly say that it's not like, well, it's not as bad as some of the other Paradox games are with certain things. Stellaris is definitely one of my more favorite games. It's a grand real-time strategy game that's made by Paradox, and the amount of customization that you can actually do with your species is quite staggering, in all honesty. Now, whenever you start playing the game, you could either use one of the many pre-made civilizations, or you could make your own. First, you have to decide what you want your race to look like. You can be a human, an elf man, an orc man, a small man, a bird man, a fish, a cyclops, a furry, a rock, a bug, a plant, a mushroom, a midget. You can be an orc, you can be a cyclops, you can be a Vulcan, you can be a robot bird thing. Up next, you have to decide your species name. Now, this name should be something that really captures the essence of what your species is. And after that, you can give them a brief little backstory if you want to. There we go. Next, we need to kind of decide what their ship names are going to be. It's not very important, but more importantly, we need to decide what the racial traits of our people are going to be. These traits can be anything from brilliant engineers to being masterful agrarians. They can be strong, long-living, or they can be negative traits like being wasteful, slow-living, weak, unproductive people. These traits are not unique just to your empire. They are tacked on to your species. So, if a member of your species goes and lives in another empire, that empire will get the same bonuses and debuffs that you get in yours. Up next is your homeworld. Note I am using a mod here, so there is a shit ton more homeworlds to choose from than there are in the base game, but generally the mechanics still work the same. Whatever your homeworld is the most habitable planet that you can inhabit and colonize, and the further you get away from that, the harder it'll become to colonize, because if you grew up in a arid desert wasteland, it's going to be a lot harder for you to live on an Arctic iceberg. And then finally, just for a little bit of flavor, you get to decide what the cities on your homeworld look like. Up next, and in my opinion the second most important choice in a species customization, is your origin. Now, your origin can either be a huge bonus, like you were life seeded on a 25 size Gaia planet, or maybe you are on a planet where there's a bunch of junk from extinct elder races that are just laying around your planet and surrounding planets, giving you a huge tech boost, or maybe you got nuked into oblivion and you're able to survive better on other worlds, or maybe it's something that adds a little bit more challenge, like your homeworld is going to explode in 30 years, so you better get the fuck off that planet, or maybe you're enthralled under another elder species. There's really a lot to choose from whenever it comes to your origin, and they can either make or break your game, in my opinion. Finally, we have ethics. This is the most important part of your empire's creation, where you are currently telling the game how you want to play, and the game will acknowledge that and see to it that that's how you play. For instance, let's hear how Sai is doing with his current Imperium of Man run. Yo.
Yo,
Hey, how did your Imperium of Man run go?
I told you, I fucking died, Lamau.
Thanks, Sai. So, as you can see, there's a bunch of different ethics that you can choose from. You can either be extremely one thing, or kinda one thing. Do you want to be a fanatical militarist xenophobe who wants to slaughter all the xeno scum, or do you want to be a fanatic militarist or spiritualist who snorts mountain loads of zero in order to contact the Shroud for different kinds of boons? Each one of these ethics types will greatly affect how you play the game. Finally, and in my opinion most importantly, we have the advisor's voice. And as you can see, there's a lot of them, so please enjoy the next few minutes of all the advisors' voices.
Did you know that my internal power core has an effective blast yield of over 5 megatons of TNT in the event of a catastrophic overload?
The weak govern, the strong rule.
You seem overworked. Have you considered joining a union?
Under no circumstances must the Xeno be trusted. It will lie, it will cheat, and it will do anything in its power to undermine the efforts of those who in truth are its superiors.
Whoa! Space! Just think about it!
Cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war.
We build bridges, we don't raise them.
The machines are an affront to nature. These profane constructs must never be allowed to... Oh, wait.
No, it'll be fine. I'm telling you, just turn off the fail-safes and... Wait, is this thing on?
We are one. We are all. Our unity cannot be divided. System diagnostic completed. All systems nominal.
Nothing is impossible to those who would try.
Hull integrity failing, decompression imminent. It's been an honor, Captain.
No great advance is made without great sacrifice.
Every successful economy is built around a hopeless cycle of repetition where we sell you the empty promise of happiness and fulfillment, and unfulfilled as ever, you still come back for more.
Our goal is to create a galactic system that maximizes innovative self-actualization and redefines future-proof solutions for every stage of a customer's life. Megacorp. We're with you every step of the way.
Workers of the galaxy, unite. You have nothing to lose but your restraining fields.
Pebbles roll downhill. Mountains stand tall.
After you name your empire, pick your fleet appearance and your flag, you can then finally start playing the game. Now you may be thinking to yourself, that's cool and all, but creature, how's the actual gameplay? And I'll tell you, it's pretty fucking fun. Stellaris is a game that is a lot about managing your resources. As long as you can keep those in the white instead of being in the negative, you're going to be fine. Now, just how you do that is completely up to you. Stellaris is a game where a lot of crazy random shit will happen all the time. For instance, you think you found a very nice world to inhabit, but then you realize it's actually an egg for an elder god that's been sleeping for the past couple thousand years. Or maybe you inhabit a planet and you find an odd factory on it, and it's a pretty good factory. I mean, it's giving you a lot of resources, but then you find out that your people are slowly going missing, and then the entire planet is filled with doppelgangers of the people who used to live there. Or maybe you discover an interdimensional portal that leads to a parallel universe where you can communicate and trade with your empire just in another parallel universe. Or maybe you come across the Horizon Signal event in which I feel like the best way to describe any Paradox game is to talk about your current playthrough, so please bear with me for a few minutes as I tell you how my current run's been going. I've been playing as a fanatic militarist, spiritualist people, and my main goal was to go across the galaxy and slaughter any unholy abominations that I could ever come across. To my surprise, I came across a hive mind species that was literally right next to my empire. So, of course, I started making preparations to declare war on them. However, before I could actually go to war with them, to the left of me, I discovered a shit ton of other empires that had relatively same ethics as I do, and they invited me into a federation. Next thing I know, I'm part of a federation and a member of the Galactic Senate. So I start to secure my borders and fill in the empty spaces that I have sort of claimed by taking over the chokeholds to the constellations and come across a relic world. A relic world is a world that used to be an Accumulopolis, which is essentially Coruscant from Star Wars, and I figured, hey, if I can take control of this and rebuild it, it'll be a powerhouse. To my surprise, right next to it, I found an abandoned mega shipyard, which would allow me to essentially materialize a fleet in a couple of months. Also, this entire area was filled to the brim with habitable planets that I could now colonize due to the fact that they were the correct planet types for my allies in my federation. So after making the appropriate migration treaties, I then started to do what I called the mass colonization, where at one time I colonized 7 different planets at once. One of these was of course the Accumulopolis, where I would then start to put a lot of the mid-tier labor force, which was out of a job due to the fact that the Accumulopolis had the ability to produce alloys and consumer goods relatively quickly. However, what I didn't realize was after a few years, a giant ether dragon appeared out of nowhere and started to destroy my planet. After essentially a large chunk of my skilled labor force was killed, I sent in my fleet in order to kill the Ether Drake. After a couple of attempts and a couple thousand lives later, the Ether Drake was finally killed, and I was given no reward other than a rare relic item that could make minor artifacts. However, what I did get out of this was the fact that I had the strongest fleet in the entire galaxy due to the fact that I had to kill a fucking dragon in order to colonize one of my planets. As well as colonizing a shit ton of planets at once, my population started to grow rapidly. Because of this and all of the trade deals that I had with the other empires in my federation, I quickly became the trade hub of the galaxy. Due to this, I was starting to gain a lot of power in the Galactic Senate. In the words of Emperor Palpatine,
I am the Senate.
And I quickly became the most densely populated empire in the entire galaxy. Due to the fact that I had a ton of population, I was able to start researching like a madman, and then quickly became the technological powerhouse as well as the militaristic powerhouse, and currently I'm at the mid-game and I'm already the galactic hegemony against the entire galaxy, and I have yet to go to war once. I essentially have control over half the galaxy. 1/4 of it is enthralled under me under vassal states, while the other part is part of my federation. Mind you, I'm also slowly absorbing all of my vassal states into my territory, allowing me to completely blob out over the galaxy without firing a single shot. The replayability of this game is insane. Not only can you completely make an entirely new race and empire to play as, but you can also play as the exact same empire over and over and over again and get completely different results throughout the entire game. And for that reason, I give Stellaris the amount of consumer goods I produce over my entire population at this point. Will I play this game once I get done with this video?
You bet your sweet bippy I did!
And that's essentially it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna see if some of the boys want to play some Stellaris, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
That's not what I mean. He uses my computer.
Oh, you only have one computer. Got it.
No, it's just that when I'm not home, he uses the computer.
Our ships have been made
It's my computer.
Our ships have been
What is
made
happening?
superior. Our ships have been made superior. Our
And I'm not allowed
ships
to put
have been
another
made
account on it because it's annoying.
Our ships have been made superior.
Oh
Our
my
ships
good
have
lord,
been
what is
made
happening?
superior. Our ships
What?
have been made superior.
Why am I getting attacked? What is happening?